Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua, Ba'Shem HaRakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone and rule well. Shalom to all the brothers do the work of sincerity and truth. Start with this 2nd Edge 15 and 16. We'll start from 15. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city, and shall not be able." That's basically going into the civil unrest, which that's something that's been in the background. That's been a zone for the longest. That's been basically like building up and what's the word? Exploded. The pressure's been building and exploding, so to speak, at certain times. Good example is going back to all that BLM nonsense that happened in what was it? Not in 2022. 2022 in summer of 2020, and the most recent one you got is the shit going down in, well, it started in Canada, but now it's going global. Now you got where it's hitting different parts of Europe, and it's the Europe stuff I wanted to look at because it's funny, the resistance in Europe, especially France. France is like one of the main spots where they've basically been France is one of the main spots where they've been them guys have been resisting for the longest. Like even before the whole pandemic situation kicked in, them men were just like kicking up a fuss every weekend, no matter what. So that's something you got continuing. Surprise, surprise. So it says some Reuters. Says French sea protest convoy defies Paris stay away order. It says like a convoy protesting. Well, it's the thing that started in this whole situation looks like a bit of a setup. The way it's kind of it's blown up because I think in Canada it started with a bunch of truckers just coming in, and them guys have been there for the longest, and like nothing's really happened. And as well, with a place like Canada, them guys have been them guys have been like the tamest as far as resistance wise. Them guys have been completely bulldozed over, and you really had not many people resisting, and now all of a sudden it's just it's blowing up. So it says what? A convoy protesting C-19 restrictions breached police defenses and drove into central Paris on Saturday, snarling traffic around the Arc de Triomphe and on the Champs-Élysées as police fired tear gas at demonstrators. Protests in cars, camper vans, tractors, and other vehicles had converged on Paris from Lille and Perpignan, Nice, and other cities late on Friday. Yeah, because I think they set up from a few days back, maybe a week back even. They basically said when the thing in Canada started, they basically said they were gonna drive from various points, drive to 3 different points in Europe, then head towards France and Brussels as well. But I don't know what that's how much of that's played out. So it says another city's late on Friday. So despite warnings from Paris authorities that it would be barred from entering the capital, inspired by the horn blaring freedom convoy demonstrations in Canada, dozens of vehicles slipped through the police cordon, impeding traffic around the 19th century Arc on the top of the boutique-lined Champs-Élysées, a magnet for tourists. Inside the city limits, motorists in the Freedom Convoy waved tricolour flags and honked in defiance of the policeman. The hell is well, what colours? Okay, whatever. Tricolour flag. So it says, on the Champs Elysees, clouds of tear gas swirled through the terraces of the bars and restaurants. Riot police also threw tear gas grenades to keep order at the authorized street protests, where demonstrators, including some yellow vests, them yellow vests, them are the guys that were out day in, week out. They were committed, man. They were going out for a while until the pandemic kicked in, and then I think even after it kicked in, some of them were out, but then they pushed through some. I think France was doing some legendary fines, so them guys had to stay home. So it says, Yellow Vest rallied against, including some Yellow Vest rallied against President Emmanuel Macron's Maxime Pass rules and the cost of living. Yeah, answered, and the cost of living, because that inflation is kicking in hard. Yeah. That inflation is kicking in globally. Everyone's feeling the burn now. More or less, the cost of everything has gone up. People running, businesses based on food. All forms of ingredients have gone up. All forms of supplies have gone up. Some things are harder to get hold of. There's it's peak, man. Energy prices going up as well. A bunch of the small energy companies got nuked in the UK. It's fucking legendary. It's a hell of a lot of shit happening at once, and a lot of people are completely disconnected from the reality of what's going down. But there's people where they're basically just about on the line where they could survive, and now it's getting peak, and they're gonna be kicking up a fuss. It's like here in the UK they added like a fund basically for people who've got like crazy cost of living bills, like for what's it called, towards energy, so like gas, electricity, those kinds of things, and it might be applicable, but then it's peak. It's fucking peak, man. So it says on the Champs Elysees, police used tear gas into the evening as sporadic scuffles continued, and one person who collapsed on the sidewalk was brought to hospital for checks, police said. France requires people to show proof of vaccination to enter public places such as cafes, restaurants and museums, with a negative test no longer being sufficient for unyabbed people. And that's how peak it is. It's like they basically made it where it's like if you want to go out and do anything, you got to comply. So that's why these men are jumping on. And there's some footage. They had a few videos still, because it happened not just in France but other places as well. Jesus. Okay, I'll get to that one after. So as well. Was that the guy who passed out? It's probably the guy who got fucking... he did not want to do that. These men are getting gassed up.
Merci Corinne, merci.
It's funny because it's like France, them men are so used to getting walloped on the head by their policemen. Them men have been legendarily militarized, because them men have been... I think it was like maybe 2016, 2017 when they had all those, T-errors, attacks happen back then. And from then it's like the police have got more and more militarized. It's way easier for the military to kind of get involved in enforcement of these things, because they just had it where they had all those things get stepped up. I think there was
Ouais, toujours
Some
attention ici.
more into the Kurdish march. So there's ads. So this is more in the daytime.
C'est journaliste, monsieur. C'est journaliste. Mais je arrête pas. Arrêtez. Oh, arrêtez là. Allez là-bas. Putain. La casquette, Rémi, la casquette. Vous me rendez ma casquette, monsieur. Vous me rendez ma casquette. Non mais sérieux quoi.
Yeah, these men don't really play. It's funny because like when them riot police get out, them men are just they'll be dashing the tear gas. Men don't really want to move. They'll just start walloping, man. Giving them the Fred Flintstone, the Captain Caveman club over the head. The man trying to have a fucking lunch. And they got tear gassed up. It's funny as hell. But that's the unrest, man. That's the unrest. I said fucking hella vans. Hella vans. Man are out the breath. Fucking hell, bro. It's actually wild. Let me get the one where they had all the look like fucking military APCs. Was it 7 hours ago? So further up. So Poland as well. The US. Where's the one I wanted? Spain. Nah, it must have been further down. Oh no, there it is. What's that? My man have the full-on militarized vehicles, looking like the fucking Batmobile from Dark Knight, man. It's actually funny, man, because man have the fucking what's that thing called, man? Not scraper. Can't remember the word right now. Thing for like moving. Well, I guess it'd be vehicles. But that shit, bro. That's how. So they said amid fears of Ottawa inspiration. Well, I think the man got through anyway. So let's see. There was one in Germany as well. So first arrivals. So Spain. The men and of gag law. The fuck is a gag law? That's the next shit, I guess. And there was another. So Switzerland. I'm sure there was a Germany one. So US. So there's Poland. Clash at German, Polish. Was that just migration? I don't even know, but man in the woods. Are they trying to like cross the border or some shit? I don't even know. But what, Netherlands party goers return to clubs. Let's see if they got any shots. Well, okay, let's leave that one because off the point. But there was another one as well. There was what? So France. That's the guy who got walloped. Ukraine. So what's this thing against privatization of pension funds? Okay, so next shit. Netherlands, yeah, that's the one. Netherlands had the police. Man on the horse. Man just smashed his head up. See, this is bruv. These it's funny as hell. Man just smacked him on the head. Now everyone's come to just start walloping, man. That Fred Flintstone. These men are so what they call protesters in the head. Okay. I actually got comments on this one. Let's see what the fucking comments are saying. Horrified to see the violence of police in Europe. You're saying openly can get away with. Man got his nose broke up. That's a thing, bro. Once they start walloping, that man don't give a fuck. Got Jake there. Man is just getting bullied up. Was that, what was it? Was that, no, it wasn't even in English, so I didn't even know what it said on. But he looked, God, you know. I was talking about God, one of them Christians. Okay, and there was one more. So France used rat gas, and in Germany as well. Yeah. Trying to get his fucking head smashed in or something. I think certain parts of Germany they got it where it's similar to France. It's like if you don't have if you ain't got your yab, then you basically you ain't able to do shit. Because I know it's like Hamburg. I think there was other places. Man, I'm walking. I see people getting their heads all up, man. Man, getting smacked up right now. But that's, that's becoming a norm. That's becoming a norm. Like on the weekend, basically, because them countries, them countries as well. They what do you call it? It's generally they've been protesting every weekend just cause, like for a variety of reasons, and now this thing's becoming one. From what happening in Canada, it's been roused up all over. So let's see what it says. It says we can't take. So back in the article it says we can't take the Max Pass anymore. Said Natalie Galdiano, who had come from south-west France by bus to participate in a protest. Police said that they had arrested 54 people, handed out 337 fines, and stopped 500 vehicles trying to get into Paris in the morning. The Interior Ministry said about 32,000 people participated in protests nationwide, including 7,600 in Paris. Yeah. I said nationwide, so it wasn't just Paris, it was all around. But then that's the same thing. It was in Germany, it was in Netherlands, it was all over the joint. And that's kind of like people getting roused up. Because you can hear it, well, I've been seeing in the news, I've been saying like, oh, a lot of countries are looking to basically, to, what is the word? Not minimize. To, was it minimize? Well, they're basically looking to have less, what's it called? Restrictions. But it's like France and like places like Scandinavian countries, they're kind of a prototype, and it's more about because it showed it in Australia. It's more about the rates of how many people have got the yab and like the boosters and whatnot, because those are the things that are prioritized, and that's what they're getting, you know, where they're doing the psychology on how, you know, people getting the compliance, seeing what the resistance is like. Because the main one is what? Is that Charagma. So it says, less than 2 months from a presidential election, Macron's government is eager to keep protests from spiraling into large-scale demonstrations like the anti-government Yellow Vest revolt of 2018. That movement began as a protest against fuel taxes and grew into a broader revolt. That saw some of the worst street violence in decades and tested Macron's authority. Grievances expressed by protesters in the Freedom Convoy extend beyond sea restrictions, with anger simmering over a perceived fall in living standards amid surging inflation. And that's what everyone's feeling. As the thing is, it's not just one form of pressure, it's not just one form of shit getting fucked up. It's it's what do you call it? It's all compacting. Where's what I'm looking for? It's all hitting at once to where people are feeling the crunch, and that's where, hey, people are just gonna be irate as hell. So it says what police had mobilized more than 7,000 officers, set up checkpoints, and deployed armored personnel carriers and water cannon trucks in prep for the protest. Yeah, them men in France are used to getting water cannons, man. Them man were doing it in like the last lockdown as well. Them man got water cannoned up. So I said separately, police also said that they had arrested 5 protesters in southern Paris in possession of slingshots, hammers, knives, and gas masks. So that's the thing as well, is you're gonna have you know, people among there to what do you call it? To essentially be those targets for you know, to justify further laws being pushed through about making people what's the word? Not so much about to make them comply, man. They can move hard as making comply. The big one is what they said. Let's read this last bit. It says Canadian truckers protesting a max mandate for trans-border traffic have paralysed parts of central Ottawa since last January and blocked US-Canada crossing points. Canadian police began clearing protesters blocking a key bridge linking Canada and the US on Saturday. Yeah, so that as well is one of the big things. And, you know, we'll see what shakes out from it. But hey, you know, people are so I meant tricolor flag, I meant France. But yeah, you know, that resistance is there, and hey, we'll see how it goes further in you know, them basically putting it down. And then yeah, it's nice shit flying up, man. It's getting wild. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom, Yavashim Yashav Hashem Makakadash Bakta.